Two-5-1 licks are among some of the most important that you can learn in jazz. They really help you navigate through the 2-5-1 chord progression, which is of course used in many different jazz standards. And in this lesson I'm going to show you 3 super easy 2-5-1 licks that you can use to kickstart your 2-5-1 language. Let's do this. Alright guys, how's it going? My name is Jamie Holroyd. I am the founder of JamieHolroydGuitar.com, which is a blog, video lessons, Skype jazz guitar coaching and ebooks. In today's lesson I'd like to share with you 3 super easy beginner 2-5-1 licks that you can use to kickstart your jazz guitar playing. Let's do it. So each of the 2-5-1 licks that I'm going to show you in today's lesson are over a 2-5-1 chord progression in the key of C. And those chords are D minor 7 for 1 bar, G dominant 7 for 1 bar, any kind of G dominant 7, and C major 7 for 2 bars. So in time it sounds like this. So if you know those chords and you know your harmonised major scale, then you're going to have an application for these. The 2-5-1, like I said, is found in many different jazz standards such as Beautiful Love, Take the A Train, Autumn Leaves. So you can actually use these licks over any of those chord progressions. You might have to transpose the key a little bit, but that's certainly a good thing to do. So let's get down to it and learn these licks. So the first 2-5-1 lick that I'm going to show you sounds like this. That's a real classic piece of jazz language right there. I'm going to show you how this works in time over the loop pedal. So this is an 8-note, 8th note lick. Try saying that 5 times. An 8-note, 8th note lick, and it's really a 1 bar line which goes over the 5 chord. Okay, it implies the sound of the 2 chord, but it works over the 5 chord. And I'll go over the mechanics in just a second, but I'll play it with the loop so you can hear how it fits rhythmically. So here we go. Once again, 2 chord, 5 chord to 1. Alright, so what's going on here? So this lick really goes through a D minor 7 arpeggio. So I'm starting there on the D note, then I'm going to the 3rd, which is the F note, then the 5th, which is the A note, then the 7th, which is the leading tone, and as soon as you hear a 7th, it wants to drop to the 3rd. So that's what's going on here. We're going up a D minor 7th arpeggio, and then we're going to fall to the 3rd of the G7 chord, which is the B natural, and then we have some scalic notes, A natural, G natural, F natural, and then E. So all the notes are from the C major scale, but if you look at each of these chords under the magnifying glass, then you could argue that this first part is Dorian. It's really just an arpeggio, but if you want to get scalic about it, then you could say it's Dorian. Next part, all those you could argue are from the Mixolydian, but really this shows that, you know, what you're thinking about is the chord tones, the important chord tones at that moment. So when it's on a D minor 7 chord, D minor 7, alright, when it gets to the G7 chord, we're getting that from starting on the 3rd and then falling down to the 3rd of the C major chord. So if I play this with chords as well, you can hear how it really outlines each of those chords. So that's the first easy 2-5-1 lick. And a great example of this, it's used in all kinds of jazz solos, but if you ask me, I always think that composition is a lot like soloing. It's just soloing in real time. But a good composition that uses this is Round Midnight by Thelonious Monk. it happens right there. So that's a good example as to how it's used in a composition as well. And this is such a really important jazz piece of language, like all these lines. So I really recommend that you can play these smaller cells especially in different locations across the fingerboard. So that you've got them accessible wherever you are. Okay, moving on to jazz lick number 2. 2-5-1 lick number 2. That sounds like this. And this is another eighth note lick. An eighth note, and there's 8 notes in the lick, and it's an eighth note subdivision. So that means 2 notes per beat. So in time, here's our 2 chord again. So you can hear how it fits in there one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's how this one works. So let's see what's going on in this lick, shall we? So again, you're implying the 2 chord over the 5 chord. So that's one thing, you know, when you're creating your own licks, you don't always have to think, alright, I'm only going to play D minor type stuff over a D minor chord, and then when it's G7, I'm only going to think of G mixed leading. Of course, you can do that, and the final lick actually kind of does that. But you can always think of D minor kind of over that G7 as well. You don't just have to think G7. So this lick, what's going on here is really, you know, it starts on the F note, and then the lick itself sounds like this. So it's got a sound of D minor 7, but you can also think of it as starting on the 7th of the G7, the F note, then going to the E flat, which is an altered tone, and as soon as you hear an altered tone on a dominant 7th chord, it wants to resolve, right? So 7, this is flat 13, 5, a strong chord note, 4 as a passing scaling note, 3rd. Can you hear that the weight of this lick from the leading tone is pulling your ear to that G natural note? And then we have a super common thing used in bebop here. We have 3 to the flat 9, which is an A flat over a G7th chord, and then another descending scalic motion here. Flat 9, root 7, 3. So you can hear how well that outlines that. So you could argue that this is from the altered scale a little bit, which it kind of is, because it's got that E flat there and it's got the A flat. But really, if you're just getting started, you can just think of this as really being, you know, a G7 5-1 lick. You don't really have to learn that, as long as you can hear how these scale tones work. So scale lick number 2, one last time. Alright, so there is that one. So let's move on to our last lick here today, and this is probably the most technically challenging lick. So what you want to do here is just take this one slow. You know, I purposely put this one in there as a bit of lead up, and this is a kind of a full lick. So there is 8 notes on the 2 and the 5 chord, and then there's only 1 note on the 1 chord. So it's got more notes than the rest of them. This lick sounds like this, and it comes in on the and, so it comes in on 4 rounds. So I'll let the loop come round so you can hear it a bit better actually. G, C, 1, 2, 3. One more time. Now without the loop. Sounds like that. So here I'm starting on the 5th of the D minor 7, the A note, and then I'm going up a 4th to a D, and then I'm going up in scalic motion, and then I'm coming back down to the F note there, and then once I've done that, so it's a lot of up and down scales, right? But you can hear that it goes through the right chord tones at the right time, so it leads your ears through the chord changes. And of course there's many valuable things in this line, such as starting a lick with a fourth. You know, if you were just wanting to create an improvised line and you started with a fourth interval, that gives it a nice sound as well. So this one plays through the changes, and it's a little bit more technically challenging, this one, but it's not so bad, and it's definitely a good technique workout. So that is the third lick. I hope you enjoyed it. So which of these licks did you enjoy the most? Please share your comments in the section below. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, and of course if you enjoyed this video and you want more free jazz guitar lessons like this, then please subscribe to the channel as well. Thanks for watching.